Kuno's little shit show?
You missed it at show before. A kit came by, completely fucked a tree to pieces.
Fuck.
He fucked the tree up. Fucked it good. It was porno.
By the way, kipped is a racial slur. Stop using the K word, it belongs in the past. Let's go with the top one. Can't tell Kuno what words to use. Fucking kipped. He imbues the last syllable with a special kind of joy. Huh. Looks like it does have a place in the future after all. What is this, a word museum? You want to belong to a museum, Kuno, with the old people? Fuck you. Kuno says kipped if he wants to. Kuno's dad says kipped all the time. Kipped's a cool word. Kipped, kipped, kippity, kipped, 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 kipped. The little one splatters. Kippity, kipped, 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 kipped. Kipped, kipped, kipped. He comes to an abrupt stop. Alright, shut it down, see. The cunner's business to do. He turns to you, victorious. I talked to Manana about the armor. So? He raises his eyebrows, projecting aggressive indifference. You should thank him. Oh, my back. Nothing. The tip paid off. Good job, Kuno. What? He quickly looks around. Don't be playing Kuno off as a snitch, bitch. The oldest trick in the book, people. Are you snitching, Kuno? This is some ancient bullshit, people. He addresses the surrounding windows. Kuno would rather take 10 than snitch. Pig's full of shit. He found a real nice button to push. Turned the tables on him. Alright, let's see. Do we have anything new? The ladder. Ever climb it? Look at that fucking shit, he screeches. You trying to get Kuno killed? So would you say the ladder is unclimbable? Fuck, does Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking acrobat. He takes a note in his notebook. Maybe you could convince him to go up there and drop it down. Don't climb it, Kuno. So maybe if you don't get that guy to come and do it, you can get him to do it. What's in the greenhouse? Dunno. He shrugs. Kipped-ass gardener used to work there. Hold on, the gardener used to work there? You mean the young woman by the whirling in rags? Look, Kuno doesn't explain shit. Kuno just says shit. He looks you in the eye and nods as if agreeing with himself. Yeah, her. Whatever. Alright, let's take a look at the body. These two intrigue me, and I really want to get to the bottom of like what's going on with this kid as well. But every character, everything I've uncovered so far, I genuinely want to push all of the buttons, get all of the dialogue, and get to the bottom of all of their secrets, which just never happens. Like, even when I was playing Fallout 1 and 2, there would be stuff I'd be like, ah, fuck, move on. Skip, 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 you know? Skipping dialogue. The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side. Beautiful. Wipe a tear from your eye. Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. The lieutenant nods approvingly. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for field autopsy. A field autopsy? Yes. He covers his nose and lists. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We're on number 3. Fuck are you on about? Cop's gonna cut his shit up. Got it. Lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. Try to remove the boots. Tell me something, dead man. Nothing. What's a field autopsy? Come on, officer. He pulls on a pair of latex gloves. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. Actually, it appears I've forgotten what a field autopsy is. Do you have another pair of gloves? No. Okay, I'll take it like a man. I have gardening gloves. Maybe they're enough. They're better than nothing. The lieutenant looks at the gloves. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things while you take notes. Okay, where should I take these notes? Notes. In your paperwork, officer, just fill out the field autopsy form. You're not going to believe this, but I think I've lost my paperwork. Now they only have one paperwork, too. Officer, what haven't you lost? None of your business, Kim. I'll lay off my case. Losing your paperwork is not a small issue. I'm sorry if I came off as patronizing. He looks at his notebook. I can give you my paperwork. There's an autopsy form there, several actually, but only if it helps move things along. Let's go find mine. We have to find it sooner or later. Where is mine? I stuffed it in the toilet, didn't I? Just give me yours, dude. The autopsy form is near the end. He hands you his notebook and his pen. Take a peek at Kim's notes. You find a moment as the lieutenant inspects the dead man's fingernails. Just a few glances. The page is filled with bulky freehand that's nearly illegible. Search for something about you. Healed morale. Maybe you're imagining it, but there are some remarks in there and they're not all negative. You're referred to as the 41st by your station number and what? The 41st comes off as moderately competent detective. What's he written about the case? It's very hard to draw conclusions. All you can make out is that he's in a hurry to solve the case. The tempo of the handwriting says as much, and there are a lot of notes in there, most of them made prior to arriving on the scene. Bromance. Here it is. What? Open the notebook. On the field autopsy form. Try to remove the dead man's boots. Supposed to wait, but I want to click it. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger, the bright red paper covered in boxes and lists, describing his condition of his skin and organ in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out. First, it begins with Assistant. That's you, Harry Dubois. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. It lies there. The next box says Coroner's Case number. Numbers. Write it down. Name. Not available. Next. Date of birth. Not available. Age? Roughly 50. You write 50. The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook. Race? Mondale. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither Mondale nor anything other. Sex? Fucky, the little monster exclaims energetically. Male. Pig's gonna have sex? Right, fucky. Right, fucky. Naively, the lieutenant does not double-check your notes. El bigo mistako, lieutenant, says the necktie. Date of death. We're still going with March 4th, 51. What else? He looks over your shoulder. Shut up, necktie! Making me second-guess what I'm doing. He looks over your shoulder. Body identified by non-applicable. Case number, same as the coroner's case. Only one box remains. Evidence of treatment. None, at least not after initial examination. A strange word, treatment. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over? They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dock workers. He places his hand on the dead man's chest, as if in preparation. We should start the post-mortem. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper try to answer why. Summary. External examination. Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrudine, I think. Let's see. He turns the body onto its side and checks the underwear label. It's happening? Babrudine, yes. Inexpensive. Size. Medium. Color. White. The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. Write it down. The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of missing pieces. Removal of boots is left for processing. It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether. Exactly what I wanted to do, drama. Good idea. Sire, if you had to keep them for yourself, you ought to have deserved them more than anyone else. Omit boots. The boots have a serial number. He twists the dead man's foot. The lines between the plates are in the shape of alphanumerical number, purposely concealed by the design. I probably fucked myself by reporting the serial number to the lady on the radio. It's fine. Write it down. Tattoos. He stands up. Feet planted on either side of the body. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo resembling a national pattern. It reaches from right shoulder to heart. Ink is blue and white. Assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to case files as document A1. Photo taken on scene using Tri-Gap Mini. Write it down. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot, color yellow, length 3 meters, a buckle on the other end. He produces a measuring tape, well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters, generally consistent with age about 50. Preservation is good, ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair light brown, distribution is consistent with age. He kneels in to get a better look. The deceased had male pattern baldness, hair is combed back, short. Touch corpse's hair before moving on. Write it down. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity. Fucking low velocity. Slur. The kid explodes. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit. The lieutenant pays no heed. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Write down, but amend for high velocity. Ligature marks. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. The steel wiring, he concedes, breathless. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark. You got just the right tool for that. Chain cutters. Oh yeah. I'm prepared. Pet the chain cutters. The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose. Oh, puke. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull them out. Always good to think ahead. Now, he points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck. We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can. Pig's gonna fuck his head off? No, he ain't. C looks blasé. Your pig's a boring fuck. Cut the belt off. 42%. Oh my god, dude. I wish I could get a little... Look for a good spot to cut. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast. Yep, I'm Kuno's pig. I agree. You are? He says with calm certainty. This pig is Kuno's? Being Kuno's pig has steadying effect on your hand. Go with the flow, man. 58% chance. I'm so cutting this guy's head off. Yes! After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot, tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature marks around it. The lieutenant kneels closer, running his finger along the dark red groove until there's a gap. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below ligature mark. Mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 to 1.5 meters. Chest is intact. He presses down on it. Normal contour. Abdomen protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia. He pulls down the man's underpants. It's gonna happen? I fucking knew it. This is clearly what they've been waiting for ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible. Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Does it look like he was enjoying his moment of death? Ah yes, your hunch before. We can have a semen analysis requested from processing if that's what you mean. No, I was trying to get a psychic read. No, you weren't, officer. That would be preposterous. He shakes his head. Write it down that we request a semen, vaginal, and anal fluid analysis. The corpse with his pants down does not have an opinion on the subject. All he has is genitals and a deathly odor. Inspect genitals. The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish, marbling, present around the crotch. Alright, well, I regret that instantly. Back is symmetrical and intact. He struggles to turn the corpse on his side. Upper and lower extremities intact but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. Last item, hands. He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, and moves on to the other. Let him work alone. Hands are clean. He inspects the wrist. No sign of a recent struggle. Were we expecting any? I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Working so close to the fumes coming from the corpse must be hard. You realize suddenly the lieutenant has barely been keeping together this past 2 times. Write it down. He turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. You hear a muffled voice. That's all for the external. Well done. What's next? Internal examination. Central nervous system, he says, and then concludes abruptly. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? You don't even have a joke. Nope. Musculoskeletal purge fluid coming from mouth. He gets close to the swollen mouth hole, eyes squinting from the fumes. No injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see. Hi. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it gently. Ugh. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips. Black and viscous. Yeah, jack that fucker off. The bone is fractured, he says after a while. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. Victim has received dental implants, possibly a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging, present in mucus of lips and mouth. From here it looks as though the clown-faced man is screaming, tendons of his jaw torn apart, hyoid ripped from the force of the lieutenant's hand. Look inside the dead man's mouth. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there, sickly sweet air unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his. Look deeper. It's hard. Once more you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction, your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow just to keep looking. Inside you see darkness, a mess of meat and darkness. There are ancient mysteries down there. Ask me later. The lieutenant lets go of the jaws, the mouth snaps shut before you, hemorrhaging, present in mucus, he repeats impatiently. Let's get our health back up. Write it down. Oh, I missed something. That was a misclick. Same for toxicology and serology. Both? Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there. The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do. We only have 1 test as per regulation. We already requested semen. 1 test? Pigs requesting semen like it's no big deal. I'm not even interested in these boring Malukas anymore. Haven't sucked him off or anything. I haven't sucked him off or anything. This is ridiculous. I want my money back. Can we change it? Seems prudent. I don't think we need to change it. Toxicology. Let's find out about the old semen, shall we? Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood is gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis visually consistent with a hanging. Gastrointestinal. He breathes a sigh of relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces. He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly and says, digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. Write it down. Keep the voila. What's next on the list? Description of injuries. Let's see. He tilts his head. We have bite marks, contusions on head and chest, a ligature mark encircling the neck. You need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one. Bite marks. Oh, well, I clicked the wrong thing. So the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have a rim of early inflammatory response. A perpetrator on the scene has confessed to it being post-mortem. Maximum velocity, fuck all. Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. The lieutenant's admission has caused great gratitude in Kuno. He's silent with it. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes. Non-fail. Post-mortem. Bite marks. He nods. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds cause damage to body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. Post-mortem. Ligature mark. A dark red, abraded ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. Hyoid bone fractured, cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on neck. Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side, awaiting your judgment. The ring around his neck is visible. Fatal injury. That's it. He cracks an uneasy smile. We've established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned, but it's a start. Boop boo! Points. He produces a small plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. Let's wrap this up. I want his boots! How did it go? Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We requested a test to be run on the genitals. That was deregle. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks if we're lucky. I would not hold my breath. Well, that was fucking pointless then, wasn't it? We were thorough with the list of injuries. We described them all in detail. What is there to say, given the circumstances? It was a professional field autopsy. Oh yeah, well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink's in order. Perhaps a drink is in order. Later, I mean. Now you see, that worries me. You will die if you drink. You know that, don't you? You're proving a useful detective. The organization would miss you. Please get yourself together. The lieutenant from the precinct 57 thinks. Give him back his notebook. What now? Now we put him in a body bag and I drive him to Faubourg for processing. The lieutenant looks at the dead man one more time, his notebook, and at the corpse again. He's thinking, did I miss something? Jesus Christ. Very low. Search the body one more time thoroughly. 3% chance. Perception so bad. Try to remove the dead man's boots. That's what I came here for. He needs to go though, but let's try this. I thought we decided to leave it to processing. The lieutenant shakes his head. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus. Try to remove the boots again. I don't know how to get rid of you. You're going to bag him up and take him right now. Right? I want the boots, Kim. Let the lieutenant take the body away. Oh, so I have to succeed at this role? I mean, it did say it was a super tough one, didn't it? Can you even save during a conversation? You can't. Well, fuck. Give me the boots! Let's talk to him one more time. At the autopsy, you said you had ancient mysteries. Oh yes, Kobo mi Lobo, in the gift horse's mouth, tracks and wakes and waterways, ancient materials buried. Yeah, but to where, brother? Just a small gulp away, my beloved Kobo, a small gulp away. Are you from Messina? My hair is too light a shade of brown, my eyebrows too. Trust your inner racist. I always trust my inner racist. He shows me the score. What are you, racist now too? You think I am. You think I was a racist because this lump looks military and has tattoos. That's called profiling. Well, let's hope we land on double sixes to get those boots, baby. I don't think I can do anything. I could put... Oh, I have 4... I could throw a skill point into perception. To be fair, our perception has been complete shit so far, and it's at a 2. I wouldn't mind leveling perception up. I wonder if it will affect it mid-conversation. Like, this is our lowest, and it's probably where I need to pump some points. We've got Inland Empire and Empathy and Suggestion all the way up now there. We're like an absolute puppet master, so Actually getting our body up would be good. Endurance needs to come up. Definitely. Endurance, we need to get up there. Especially before we fight that dude. Let's throw one into perception, though. For noticing details. Seems pretty important for a detective going forward, wouldn't you say? %8 chance. Well, look at that. It doubled it. Should I do another one? Is it doubling it every time? Would it then be 16? It's still so low. Believe! Oh man, a 6 and a 4. You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso, its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough. Look in his pants again. The genitals in his breeches continue to be unnoteworthy. You've seen the penis of a dead man. If you've seen it once, you got the picture. Can't get enough of that dick. Do you think we missed something? You can't shake the feeling there are more secrets concealed in the flesh before you. There's something we're not seeing. Okay, well, we're in liver mortis here. He's disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to continue in it. Well, we got a freezer, dude. We need to do it fast. Where do we find a fridge? A wide smile appears on his face. Wasn't there a giant ice bear sarcophagus below the building? I turned it off. There was. It was massive. Red eyes glowing in the dark. So that's what that's for. Yeah, there was. Detective, I've rarely been disappointed by the size of a giant ice bear fridge, but we should still take a look at it. Make sure it's big enough before we carry him over. Better turn it back on. He closes his notebook. He cracks his neck. Let's move. With every hour we're looking for, the deceased will become harder to find. Alright, baby. Let's do this. So what did this say about when does it open? Hey, Lieutenant, what could be in here? Trash, food waste from cafeteria. They lock these containers to keep derelicts from flocking in. Could be evidence, too. Then we should open it immediately. He leans in to inspect the lock. How do we get that open? We could try using pry bar, the one you took from my motor carriage. Or we could ask for a key from the manager. He probably has one. Force time! Jam the tool under the lid and pull. Jam it in, baby. My voice is going, but I can't stop playing. Come on, we gotta get this body in there. Oh, it's a really low chance. I don't want to hurt myself. Jesus Christ, 8%? I am weak. Such low chances? Yeah, I'm so weak. I'm a psychic detective. I'm an empath. I'm all about that emotional intelligence. I really didn't think physicality would factor into it so much because there's pretty much no combat and everything being sort of dice rolls, but actually physicality has played quite a big part. To be fair, we went down the middle. We were a 3 on physicals and 2 on agility, like motricity, but depends what kind of experience you want, I guess. We really need to speak to these boys in there as well. I get the key first.
Can I help you?
Is the trash container out back yours? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags. Thanks for clearing that up. Why do you keep it locked? To keep the hobos and the drunks out, that's why. And the neighbors too, they put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company. I thought as much. Are you the only party with access to it? Well, yes, us and the garbage disposal company. Seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. I wonder what this feeling is. Prod at him and find out. Doesn't it seem callous to you, guarding your leftovers from the poor? Callous? What are you, Krasmazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked. The Whirling in Rags is not special in that regard. Maybe I am Krasmazov. What are we talking about? Was this not about the trash container? No. Wait. Whisper and point to the back of your head. What if I am Krasmazov? We should return to the case of your mistaken identity at a later time, officer. This was about the trash. We need the keys. What for, Mazov? Are you planning to nationalize my trash container? It concerns the case. The lieutenant's voice is harsh and sudden. Cooperate. Keys. About my bill for tonight. I have this giant novelty check. You must be kidding, right? He stares at the check, baffled. Good one, officer. Funny. But this establishment takes cash. Do you have that cash, Mr. Novelty Check Man? Fred, near the gates. They'll exchange it. Okay, just wanted to see if there was an option to, you know, like, beat him over the head with it. Alright, you guys, don't go anywhere. You're next. Oh man, I hope I didn't screw us by unplugging the ice bear. We can just plug it back on. What is this? Set of tire tracks in the brown slush that cover the plaza mosaic. Reconstruct movement. Visual calculus. I have a item of clothing for that. Don't think I have any minuses on it right now, but we have that plus. Oh yeah, double fives. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling in rags. This is point A. The driver started here. Accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to cafeteria manager. The hole in the fence doesn't look that huge. The hole is not that impressive. He was exaggerating. People blame cops for everything that goes wrong in this world. That has nothing to do with you. What happened next? The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Heading south. Must have been in a hurry. Car drove through the fence. You're correct. This is a rather motor carriage friendly city. Somehow that makes you feel scared. You don't know why. Is this connected to the case? I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate. You could follow the tracks south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went, if you find the time. Totally gonna follow those. Alright, let's get this baby open, huh? Keys! With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to raise the lid. Don't! Maybe you shouldn't! Did I just have a premonition that there's something in there? Didn't I? There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow, your hand on the lid. Open lid. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, organic waste. We're just in time. The lieutenant peers in. This hasn't been emptied for a week. Look under the carton. You see milk, an egg rest with one broken egg in it, some pasta wrapper. Picking up soggy packages somehow feels familiar. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal, plastic pasta packages below, and turbo noodles. Nothing of note. Pick at the rags. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers? Grab them. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air. The victim's clothes. The lieutenant smells them. Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. He produces a black plastic bag marked evidence. Drop them in here. Bagged. Kim searches the jeans. Guitar mark blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt too. A wide belt. The loops appear stretched, but the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? Something slimy catches your eye. Reach for it. A drab long-sleeved shirt, olive-covered, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus. This is a military-type overgarment, no label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more? The rest of the rags are kitchen variety waste, a yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that, thrown out towel, a mug, that's all. Alright, we should go to Gart again and ask him who put the clothes in the trash. Could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. He nods towards the red-haired boy behind him. I'd advise against confronting that force. Let's ask the kids. We're buds now. The fuck's he on about, kids? The one behind the fence yells. You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something. Think someone from the whirling might have been involved? Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and the establishment had the key. It's a small loose thread. Search the food waste. It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on the hands, apple and potato peels mostly, unidentified sludge and the occasional chicken bone. But hey, nothing. It's nothing. Nothing more to see. What's this? What? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something. Damaged ledger. Hey, it's my stuff! A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes written in a man's handwriting. Is that your paperwork? It can't be. Yes, it is. Look, he points. The plastic has RCM street grid on it. You've got an autopsy form. A miserable-looking slip of paper sticks to the board. If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash? I think I don't want to be a cop anymore, and that's why I tried to flush my cop life down the toilet. Well, he doesn't know what to say. His eyes express a rare condolence. He picks it up. Lucky we found it. You should take stock of what remains, just to be sure someone has not made it into the hands of RCM's adversaries. Organized crime and the like. There might have been police secrets in your notes. Alright. Read your ledger, name the case. It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Tell me what your eagle eyes see, or are we finished? Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Cool. The mug. I'm getting the mug. You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in the saffron. An antique? Only in its social sensibility. Take the mug. The man briefly glances at the mug and returns to the site of the trash. The container sounds a muffled gong. That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all. Open the lid again. Nothing. Leave. This broken-eared mug somehow made its way into the whirling-in-rags dumpster. It depicts a person of Sumerian descent frolicking in a field of saffron flowers, buck-toothed and grinning feeble-mindedly. It seems to be a cheap knockoff of some colonial-era antique. It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much. There's actually quite a lot to read into here, actually. Look at all that content. Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? The mug didn't belong in the trash. Just a funny mug. Can't anyone laugh anymore? The mug will be useful, but at announcing it, I can earn political capital to mask my badass hustling. I'm going to push this into the face of every merchant I find and tell them this is your inane ideology. This mug is an example of prejudice. I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do. Fraud and embezzlement, baby. If you want to earn some change by guilting people, go for it. But if you want to earn real dough, finish the case and start getting paid again. The ledger. The ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from a plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. Sad display made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. Anything else? Piece of toilet paper. Or is it a cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart. Inspect the toilet paper. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of a plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. Leave it there. It's cool. Way cool. Inspect the clip. An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached. Run your fingers across it. Surface interrupted by a silvery sticker, rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. Lieutenant, what's this? What? He's lost in his own notes. It takes a moment for him to see it. It's a halogen watermark. We use it for adding information to RCM property. What kind of information? Depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. Varies by date of issue. How many years you've been on the force? He's thinking it'll have it. How can I read it? Any capable light with the right wavelength. Like? All RCM vehicles. Mine, too. This means you can read the watermarks if you can turn the lights on. He returns to his notes. Browse the white papers. They're not exactly white, they're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes the watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered with faint red lines forming short paragraphs. Once in a while there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files, commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages, falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. They're about work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter, handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51. This year, the exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention, but there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You've attempted 2 cases a week on average. There's mention of a naming convention here. It appears you employ a robust yet literary system. Each investigation has a case number written on the margins, yet more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name. Oh my. They're written in capital letters too. Yes, all caps. One's called The Next World Mural, another one The Square Bullet Hole Murders, another one The Unsolvable Case. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, the murder at the hookah parlor, even the rare article-free collapsing tenement murder features prominently throughout. You like this grimy murdering, don't you? No, you don't. You're a human measuring instrument, almost entirely intellectual. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done later, once you're done inspecting them up close. Is 2 cases a week a caseload? Is 2 cases a week a good caseload, Lieutenant? Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. That appears to have been my load, Lieutenant. 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you're making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. I burned out, all right. That's okay. He turns back to his own files. We all do. My case appears to employ some kind of naming convention. You mean the alphanumeric, officer precinct, time of arrival at scene? That's the one. Lie. No, I mean a non-numeric one. Titles. Oh, the titular. Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone does. Why? It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves. You seem to have named a case the Square Bullet Hole Murders. Again, in your defense, I have named one. He peeks into his notes. The man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. He smiles. I pray his loved ones never find out. What happened to him? Rail spike through the head. He died. Workplace accident. Count pages. I have to open an official case. Is there room? There is, for precisely 1 more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. Commit to paper using the pen Lena gave you. Thank God we got a pen. The tasks you've completed flow out of the kind green ape pen in a brash, free hand, similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily, almost robotically simple, a language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect victim's body. Get body down. Interview cafeteria manage. Cross out once you've finished. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. And a fuck you to you too. The last one cuts a slash right through the paper. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case. Have you named our case, Lieutenant? No. Any ideas? Shit on a stick. The Hanged Man. The Furies are at home in the mirror. That was the opening quote. The setting sun. I feel like the Hanged Man, if you were naming a case as a detective, the Hanged Man is pretty, you know. Harry Dubois and the Hanged Man. Number 2 was the original name of the game. I know when it was on a request website, it was called there's been no peace with the Furies or something like that. But they changed the name, obviously, because that's kind of an insane name, whether it was that one or this one. I think Disco Elysium is much more memorable. Personally, kind of a bugbear of mine is when there's a really great game and it has a terrible title that's really not memorable, and it becomes really hard to remember it yourself and tell people about it. The Hanged Man. Great, that's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. He flips the page of his notebook. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. Good, we sorted this out. Put the ledger away. We'll look at these again later. That's a lot to get through, and we gotta get this body in. It's there, frickin' still there, right? Where'd the body go? Oh, there it is. Thank God. Kuno's text was hiding it. I thought somebody had come and pinched it whilst we were doing that. Pretty sure the bear was in here, I think. Plug in the black cable. Somewhere a machine hums. Pretty sure it was the black one that was doing it. The orange machine buzzing like an old submarine. You slip your fingers under the frozen, but the ice is too cold. A pry bar would come in handy. Pry bar in hand. So I'm curious if this is has melted overnight. Since we came in and unplugged this yesterday. Nope. Pry bar is not strong enough. Maybe we'll get a better tool later on. So it's not it melting. There we go, it's back on. The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge melting. The power has been cut off. Oops. What do you think of this fridge, Kim? It looks big enough for 2 corpses. It's certainly an eccentric choice, but it's more than big enough and cold enough. It's perfect. All we have to do is plug it back in. Oh wait, did I just plug the other one back in? Whoopsie. Why did you do that? I do things without any reason, Kim. Plug in the giant red one. A giant electric mammal awakens. The dead body is going to be safe in the embrace of its cold innards. Great. The owners of this building will just have to keep paying for electricity sucked up by this monstrosity a little longer. Let's return to the fridge. Wait, so now is this melted? Ice around it is slowly melting. Man, I hope I didn't reset that by doing that. The fridge is plugged in. Will you help me with the body, Kim? Of course. I'll take the head, you take the feet. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. We'll manage. Alright, let's do this. The body is heavier than you expected. And stinkier. It takes half an hour to get it down to the basement. 10 more minutes to stuff it into the fridge. The lieutenant takes a step back to admire your handiwork. Beautiful, he says, wiping his hands in a handkerchief. A dead body in an ice bare fridge. Some of the best police work I've ever done. Really? You think it's good work? No, not really. Look at that. What have we done? We stuffed a dead body in an ice bear fridge. This story does not leave this room. He means it. He doesn't want to be ice bear cop. I want to be Ice Bear Cop. This isn't police work, Kim. It's art. We're artists. This was our vision. If I were an artist, this would certainly not be my vision. I would be much, much more conservative in my work. He's right. His work would be much more formal. At least we've stopped the body from decomposing further. Now you can conduct another inspection under controlled circumstances. Inside the icy realm of the Ice Bear fridge, the corpse stands slumped, waiting. Remove the boots. I feel like I should leave it, because if I complete it, then they're going to take it away. So what I want to do is maybe get it to nighttime. I'm come here alone and take the boots off, right? But let's try a roll. Hang on, close the door. Let me save it, just in case, because I'm going to get those boots, dude. Boots. He won't let me do it. Alright. Roll. Failure. You touch the dead man's body. His... Oh my god, that was a 1 and a 2. His skin is cold. Blah, 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 blah. It'll come to you sooner or later. At least he's safe here until then. Oh, gonna need more perception, baby. Damn. Damn. Bless this ice bear.